User research has shown that children learning to cook often forget about their food while it's cooking, or they leave the kitchen appliance on after they're done. This is a problem especially when the stove is left on because it creates a fire hazard. For this problem, we asked, how can we design a physical computing system that ensures children don't abandon their food and leave the appliance on after they're done using it? The idea is that first the user sets the timer that controls how long the appliance will be on. While the timer is on, the proximity sensor will set off an alarm if it senses that the user is too far from the appliance. We then built a low-fidelity prototype to evaluate our concept.
The prototype consists of a power source, a W19 split, a timeout, a proximity sensor represented as a button, an inverter, and an alarm. The user begins by setting the timer for the appliance, which remains on until the time is passed. The user must stay within range of the proximity sensor or else the alarm will sound until they're returned. The prototype successfully senses when the user leaves the range of the proximity sensor, but needs more work to consider when the user is required to leave the general vicinity.
We found our prototype feasible as it is viable to connect a proximity sensor and a timer to the stove. Through the process, it also appears the concept would be desirable for both children and their parents. Parents would enjoy the safety benefits, while children would enjoy focusing on cooking. Finally, the concept feasibility was acceptable, but it could be improved by allowing the child to step away from the stove for a short amount of time. This could be incorporated as a timer that will keep the stove on regardless of the status of the proximity sensor. Overall, we recommended to our company that this concept could be iterated on and tested further by integrating a stay-on timer so that you can step away from the stove for short periods of time without turning it off.